Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversations Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be hearing part of my conversation with author, motivational speaker, and life coach, Tracy Hester. You guys probably saw my book talk live with her on Instagram. We'll be talking about her journey that led her to writing her 2 books. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In international news, Ukraine's power, water supplies under Russian attack again. Airstrikes cut power and water supplies to hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians on Tuesday, part of what the country's president called an expanding Russian campaign to drive the nation into the cold and dark and make peace talks impossible. President Zelensky said nearly 1/3 of Ukraine's power stations have been destroyed in the past week, causing massive blackouts around the country. No space left for negotiation with Putin's regime, he tweeted. Depriving people of water, electricity, and heat as winter begins to bite, and the broadening use of so-called suicide drones that nosedive into targets have opened a new phase in Russian President Putin's war. The bombardments appear aimed at wearing down the notable resilience Ukrainians have shown in the nearly 8 months since Moscow invaded. Meanwhile, along the front lines, things remain very difficult for Russian troops in the southern region and city of Kherson, according to Russia's new commander. He told reporters in Moscow that the Russian military would help evacuate civilians ahead of an expected Ukrainian offensive. Kherson is one of 4 regions illegally annexed by Russia last month. The regional head said Tuesday that residents of certain areas were to be moved along the Dnieper River away from Russian troops building large-scale defensive fortifications. Across Ukraine, even far from front lines, basic utilities are no longer certainties, with daily Russian strikes reaching far into the country and damaging key facilities. The latest city shorn of power was home to military bases, industries, and leafy boulevards about 85 miles west of Kyiv. The mayor said the whole city of 250,000 lost power and also water initially. Repairs quickly reconnected some homes, but 150,000 people were still without electricity hours after the morning strike, the regional authorities said. City hospitals switched to backup power after the double missile strike on Tuesday on an energy facility. In the capital, Kyiv, missile strikes damaged 2 power facilities and killed 2 people, city officials said. The attack left 50,000 people without power for a few hours, the facility's operators said. Missiles also severely damaged an energy facility in a south-central city, and strikes even hit the northeastern region. In national news, the Associated Press shares everything you need to know to apply for student loan forgiveness. President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program, announced in August, will cancel up to $20,000 in debt per borrower, says the Associated Press. The application process is now open, and the administration says the forms should take 5 minutes to complete. Borrowers who apply before mid-November should see forgiveness before January 1st, when payments on loans are scheduled to restart after a pause during the pandemic. Some Republican-led states have filed lawsuits to stop and try the cancellation, but the Biden administration says they're confident the challenges won't succeed. You qualify to have up to $10,000 forgiven if your loan is held by the Department of Education and you make less than $125,000 individually or $250,000 for a family. If you receive Pell Grants, which are reserved for undergraduates with the most significant financial need, you can have up to $20,000 forgiven. If you are a current borrower and a dependent student, you'll be eligible for relief based on your parents' income rather than your own. In more national news, Biden to release 15 million barrels from oil reserve, more possible. President Joe Biden will announce the release of 15 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve today as part of a response to recent production cuts announced by OPEC nations. And he will say more oil sales are possible this winter as his administration rushes to be seen as pulling out all the stops ahead of next month's midterm election. Biden will deliver remarks today to announce the drawdown from the Strategic Reserve, senior administration officials said on Tuesday, on the condition of anonymity to outline Biden's plans. It completes the release of 180 million barrels over 6 months, authorized by Biden in March. That has sent the Strategic Reserve to its lowest level since 1984, and what the president called a bridge into domestic production could be increased. The reserve now contains roughly 400 million barrels of oil. And finally, in business news, stocks climb on Wall Street as investors focus on earnings. Stocks closed broadly higher again on Wall Street Tuesday adding to weekly gains for major indexes that have been mired in a broad slump amid inflation and recession concerns. The S&P 500 rose 1.1%, with roughly 90% of the stocks in the benchmark index notching gains. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 1.1%, and the Nasdaq Composite ended 0.9% higher. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Recognize what is doing you harm and take the steps needed to eliminate it so you can grow. What are you waiting for? The best of you is yet ahead. Have an amazing Wednesday. Tracy Hester is featuring today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author Tracy Hester joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the journey that led her from being just a motivational speaker and life coach to a published author. Here's a bit of our conversation. I want to talk about, though, this journey for you as an author, as October is kind of recognizing those books that we love and the authors who write them. What has it been like for you to have that slash after your name, being a published author?
Wow. Well, first of all, I would have never thought that I would have that as a title, becoming an author. Actually, my journey in becoming an author is within the last 10 years. So I wasn't the girl that kept all these journals and had, wrote all the time. This gift of writing came later, and it actually came as I was walking through a season of pain in my life. So I used the writing as a way to release that pain. I used it to pray and so many other ways, and it was very cathartic for me. And so through my writing, that birthed two books.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But better get on tomorrow, more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.